What's up everyone, this is Soul with another video, and today we're going to do a 5-mask vision of Stormwind. This is for the folks who are just looking to get some hero gear, maybe a couple of crests, or at least they want to get at least that particular milestone. They want to go for a 5-mask. Please like the video, subscribe for more coverage, catch me live. I happen to be live right now, and we're going to do this recording as we go. This is considered a intermediate to advanced guide that you already know like the gist of what's going on, and what I'm going to present to you is the route. And as we go through, I'm going to be talking about the increased numbers of packs that you might have to deal with, small changes or things you might want to look out for when you're dealing with multiple masks. Now, to also kind of set the stage, the vision upgrade tree is just about full. The only thing that I'm missing at the moment is the Gift of the Titans proc. That doesn't really change how we approach this. That proc just allows you to not really care about taking sanity damage for, I believe, about 20 or so seconds. That happens randomly on kill, and it has, I believe, like a minute or so internal cooldown. Something like that, but it's not needed to take care of a 5-mask vision. Of course it helps, and if you want to wait for that to get kicked in, that's totally cool too. I also have maxed out the tributes, the things that let me get sanity back, do more damage and what have you. I'm using Twilight Devastation as my head enchant, and I'm coming at this from the point of view of a tank. And the whole point of this is not to show you guys, oh yeah, it's so easy as a tank, yada yada yada. It's more so that you understand like the route, kind of what's going on in my head as I'm taking care of mobs and what kinds of things that I'm looking out for. As for the masks that we're dealing with, we have to, of course, choose 5 masks to get us through here. And the ones that I want to avoid using include Long Night, which cuts your sanity in half. That thing sucks, so I'm going to turn that one off. I'm going to turn off Vengeance. That's the one that makes mobs bolster when you kill them, and they'll deal like that much extra damage to you. It's something like that is decent in certain conditions. We'll talk about in just a bit. The other one I want to turn off is Daredevil. That's going to make it so you don't take 4 times the amount of sanity damage. So it'll let you make more mistakes. You know, you can screw up a little bit more without immediately failing the vision. Now, one thing that's kind of in contention, and you know, you can use whichever mask combination you like as long as you're using 5. Some people don't like multitudes. In this case, I am using multitudes, and this is definitely why I'm coming at this from the point of view as a tank, because they'll thrive in that sort of environment. So some people, they'll swap out multitudes and pick up Vengeance instead because they are going to pull kind of slow, and they're not going to get as many of those bolstering stacks as others. So with this vision, we're going to deal with Nemesis, and in this case, we're going to spawn Hogger. As soon as we kill 25 mobs, you can see that right up there, right up top there on screen. Hogger will spawn, and he'll mess you up. He deals a lot of melee damage, and he does a cast that you want to interrupt because it'll lower the damage that you deal for a little while, and you want him to be like dead as possible. You want him like super quick dead. So I'm gonna go through the Cathedral area first. At this level, you guys should kind of have a good idea of what's going on and just prioritize certain mobs. So in this case, you want to go for the Void Speaker, make sure it doesn't get any cast off. Notably, it's Psychic Scream, because that really sucks. And from there, if you want to like move on and go to other mobs, cool. So we're going to clear most of this area here. And what you want to try to do as you're playing through, no matter what your spec is, you want to try to emphasize your spec to have like short cooldowns that you can chain from one pack to the next. And from there, you want to, you know, as you're traveling through, hit up each one, have a nice little cooldown to spend. So like here, I'm going to go for the Rift Walkers. And I want to try to prevent them from doing too much work. So I'm going to go use my big hammer thing. I want to try and interrupt the Shadow Shift if I can, because that's a pretty heavy damage bubble. So there, I was able to kick that one. I didn't kick the earlier one. Bummer. And then, of course, watch for their swirls, because that's going to be a big stun, and that thing sucks. Like here, you can see like the Void Globules. They don't really do much. They're just like, they're really there just to build like those bolstering stacks, which don't exist, because we're not using that particular mask. And here comes Hogger. Now, I said Hogger does a lot of melee damage. You want to try to isolate him as much as you can, only fight him. ideally, without any other distractions, because he can deal a lot of damage in a very, very short amount of time, especially when he gets at lower health, and he does his enrage, so he's doing even more damage. So you want to be very, very careful of that. So you can see, I think it's at 25% or so he gets the enrage. Yes, now he's enraging, he deals, let's see, more damage and more attack speed. That's the dangerous part. So even as a tank, like you can see, like he's doing quite a bit of damage to me. So I'm going to do the same route that I took for the 8 mask, and I'm going to focus on what I feel are like the more difficult regions, and then we'll go back and do like the easier ones to kind of like wind things down. So do the hard things first, is what we're trying out here. I want to be careful of the eyeball. Eyeball low-key does a lot of damage, so it's something that I most recently learned trying to do a 5 mask with my warrior. That was a mistake, and I'm clearly not on him, because I at least want to make myself look kind of good as I'm doing this. So this hallway, as soon as you enter, you want to kind of be prepared for a fight. You can see here that because we're using multitudes, there's a lot of these little ads that are going to spawn. And here there's like a double void speaker at the start too, so you want to be careful of that. Try to clear them out and otherwise CC them because it's behind a lot of mobs. And there's a lot going on in this particular hallway. So you want to maybe have cooldowns ready. Here's Hogger again. So maybe have like something big that you want to throw down to get them down quick. And there's a pretty good chance that you might get Hogger to come out twice, which feels kind of wasteful, right? Because it's like, hey, dude, like I'm trying to get my sanity back from the perk, and you know, I'm wasting it because I'm getting all these mobs coming in when I really just want to, you know, get through. But I feel like it's better to just get a lot of these mobs out of the way because there are quite a few. You eventually do whittle them down. So then we can like move on. Go for this darn eyeball. That thing's a big pain. And you can see like another Hogger just spawned. So like here we go. So now I'm gonna pop like some other cooldown and have that available for it. So I'd say like if you can have like, if you can space out a number of like 45-second, 30-second cooldowns even, that'd be very, very helpful as you go from pack to pack. So for those who aren't familiar with like Mythic Plus, it's kind of the same mentality. Space out your cooldowns so that way you have them ready for like a big move. This particular pull can be very, very troublesome because you're dealing with 2 void speakers over there. So if you can, I'd say if you can use like a range attack, use this corner here to line of sight them so you can get them closer to you, and then pop something big that'll help you get through. So it's kind of a pain because yeah, you see right there, I'm dealing with tentacles as well. Those dudes who knock you up, as in knock you into the air. You know what I mean? As you can see here, I was making some mistakes, lost some sanity here and there. But it's not a huge deal. More than anything, you just want to avoid the circles that are coming from like this particular boss. So you can fight them alone. You can try to pull them with other mobs if you really want to. It can be very dangerous, especially if you, in this case, we're dealing with both Leadfoot and Split Personality. So you want to be careful. Try to make sure you're not getting caught by the little clones of you doing stuff. And let me just kind of go to him. This is one of those bosses where you do ideally want to save all of your cooldowns for, because this guy can end your match very, very quickly. So like right now, very high risk move, trying to go through like between the Split Personality as he's doing his super move. And again, it can easily end a match if you get caught in it. And that's one reason why I'm coming here first, so I can get this spot out of the way. So down he goes, our sanity's looking good, even though I did get hit from some stuff. And we have a count of 2 left until the next Hogger spawns. So we'll kind of take it easy, let our cooldowns get restored, so that way when he does come out, we can smoke him super quick and then move on with our lives. Almost, that second scream almost went off. That would have been pretty bad. But here I'm just like popping a whole bunch of stuff. And he goes down super quick. So now we're going to backtrack a little bit. I just came from there, so now we're going to wind around, go through this spot here. I still don't know if this is like the most efficient way to go. It just happens to be what I do. So Portal Master number 1. Take care of him. We'll backtrack again, so that way I don't have to deal with that pack over there. So we're kind of like roundabout going around. So like there they are. That's the pack that that I'm skipping or avoiding. And we're gonna cut through here so we can take on the other portal person. Be careful, this guy, this portal keeper person does a psychic scream as well, as if they're a void speaker. So careful, careful. Avoid the void buffet too. Buffet, whatever. I say buffet. I don't know why. And then go up this slope right here, and we can encounter the other mini boss. So I kind of timed that in such a way that maybe you'll lose a little bit of sanity as you're going through the path, because you're going to get some more back when you fight this guy. And this guy's a punk. He doesn't do too much. Let his Shadow Bolt cast, because it doesn't do too much damage. He just kind of does his thing. It's the Ring of Fire that you need to move out of, and then he'll shortly do like the summons afterwards. You just want to make sure that you are not standing in their explodies. It sucks. So try to move through that. The biggest thing, like as you practice and get used to this, you'll be able to keep a cooler head when multiple things are happening at once, because it can feel overwhelming really, really fast. So more than anything, keep your cool, because this guy's taking forever for me to kill. I don't know why. There we go. Down he goes. All right. So we're going to backtrack the way we came. Again. Gotta kind of memorize where you came from too. You get used to it. Try not to depend on the maps too much. Muscle memory is a great friend for you. As you're climbing up, you want to make sure that if you happen to get in combat, that you just defeat mobs right away. Sometimes you might be at somewhat lower sanity than this. That can be really bad, because then you'll spawn like those figments, because that's one of the masks that you have activated. And that plus Leadfoot, that threatens to slow you down. So here for this boss, you want to have most of your cooldowns available. You don't want to pop everything at once though, because he's going to do his like jump around sort of thing. And this is a spot where you really want to emphasize movement speed if you can. So if you can reduce the cooldowns of your movement speed buffs, then hey, all the better. Or if you just happen to be really awesome at it, then great. Just make sure to kick the Entropic Missile if you can. If you do have multiple cooldowns you can use, hey, even better. That way you can take care of the polymorph as well. Paladins are pretty cheap like that though, so sorry for showing off like that. So just make sure to stop for this guy. And otherwise, like, this can feel like a slog because your sanity is like slowly ticking away, but it's way better than getting caught up and stuff. So, and now I'm just going to once again space out my cooldowns, or space out my kicks since I have extras. And he should go down in just a moment. Anytime now. There we go. So sanity's looking pretty good. Folks who don't have as many interrupts, they're probably going to be like a little bit lower, but you might have better damage than I do anyway, so you might be fine. All right, so that's the first tough one. So now we're going to make our way over to Old Town. So I'm going to skip that pack over there and kind of go around. It's a little roundabout going this way, but it seems to have worked out. I've improved slightly on the route that I took. So I skipped like what, 1 or 2 packs that were towards that side. So now we're just gonna go around here, cut through here, and now we're at Dwarven District. Actually, we're not doing Dwarven District. I said I was gonna do Old Town, so off we go. Off we go to Old Town. Maybe I could have found a better way again. We're gonna make just beware of the eyeball. Oh, hey, look, these guys happen to come along. So I'll go ahead and grab some of these other guys too. You don't want to stray too far from Hogger though. I believe he does reset if you go far enough, and then if you dealt damage to him, then you got to start over because he reset, and that's just all bad. So when Hogger does spawn, just try to take care of him immediately. Don't be too fancy. Like even what I'm doing here might be a little bit risky, especially because I wandered into like a lost area, so that means a little bit of extra sanity being lost. So I'm going to take care of these guys, and since I spawned Hogger a little bit just recently, I'm going to go straight for that mini boss, even though it's not really, even though it's going to be kind of wasted sanity. I mean, who knows? You could always, there's always that chance of messing up. So start to move already early for this move. So here once again we're dealing with Leadfoot and Split Personality. You want to move right after she does her circle attack thing, because she's going to do that shotgun. So now get ready for her to do the circle again. There it is. So you can kind of pre-move for it. It's sort of predictable, you know, with the pattern. So now we're backtracking. We're taking on a double informant. Beware. Like stun it. If you have AoE stuns, great. If you have a fan of shields, even better. Makes quick work of their casts. We have 12 left until the next Hogger comes out. Go for the Executioner for this next pull. Executioner, like low-key, hits pretty hard, or if you have like a easy, simple stun, that'll help too. I just realized now I'm using my my tanking / healing trinket, so I have a int trinket on right now. My bad. In case anyone's wondering about that. So here's a double informant, and it's going to be followed up by a triple informant. So it can be, this can get like really bad really fast. So try to save your cooldowns for the triple when you deal with it. Just like maybe like kind of space out whether you're going to use like a crowd control thing versus something to just like burn them down. In this case, I'm going to use 2 cooldowns. So I'm going to pop a DPS increase, followed by my fan of shields to try to take care of a bunch of casts at once. Down they go, and I get a Hogger. Hi, buddy. Chat's asking, have I thought of going ret for bosses? No. My proficiency is bad. So I just do much better in my element as a tank. So that's really it. Something that I totally forgot. Right before the pull, there's like a couple of stealth mobs here. You want to try to be careful of those. The cast that you want to look out for is called Lurking Appendage. That's the one that will spawn those tentacles right there. The big circle that you saw, there's nothing you can really do about that. So that's something you're just going to have to take. And just watch the cast bars like I didn't. And you'll be able to make short work of them. Some people tend to panic because they'll see the big circle, they'll be like, oh no, and then they try to move and then they end up like running into trouble. So here is a double informant. Plus a hunter that snuck up on me, great. So focus on like AoE related stuff. Try to knock out the informants quick. And don't let them get that touch of the void or whatever it's called off. That stun would be brutal at this level. Like, you know, it's even at 5 masks. I'm still getting kind of tore up. So let's go. Wherever it is. Yep. Oh, there we go. So here again, just like unlike Umbric, you do want to pop everything as soon as possible. The fight does get harder the lower his HP is, but this thing just takes forever, and you have like these kinds of short windows where you can deal damage. I find that popping everything early, you know, try to line everything up, you know, like a typical DPS situation, that works best. but try to move ahead in such a way that you can reposition Shaw without getting hit by like these eyeballs, even though they reposition as well, and that gets really annoying. The big thing though is you don't want to panic too much. The amount of sanity damage that they deal is fairly low. It's really like these big swirls that Shaw fires off that you want to be like really careful of. So you can see here I'm taking some sanity hits, but it's not like the hugest deal. You just want to make sure that you don't run into anything like stupid when you're trying to dodge stuff. So here I'm taking forever. Like he's still up doing his thing, but I'll get him. See, like if you have one eye looking at you, it's not the end of the world. Just do your best to reduce it as much as you can. But it's not nothing to sweat over. So I'm gonna kind of backtrack again, so I can go over to Dwarven District. So now we've done the 2 tough ones. Still got 3 sanity thingamajiggers left, and now we can do the easy sections. Just don't be complacent. You know, don't get too overconfident. Once you've gotten this far, it's like, hey, cool, yeah, we're good. Be careful. Life has a way of sneaking up on you. And there's 2 kills left until Hogger comes out. I'm watching. I see ya. So I'll pop something a little big for this guy. Oh, look at that, double hammer, even better. So we're dealing with entomophobia and dark delusions. So you want to jump around like a crazy person. And you want to avoid the little ghosty that's coming towards you. So in this case, you know, like I said, you're dealing with a bunch of extra mobs, and that can be troublesome depending on like if you happen to be like a clothy or otherwise someone who can't really take a whole lot of melee damage. So you want to be careful. But in this area, kind of similar to Mage Quarter, you can get like a lot of extra count to get another Hogger to spawn. So it more than makes up for things. You just want to, again, like I've been saying this whole time, just kind of keep chill, relax. Don't let the excitement get to you too much. So we're gonna get another Hogger in a bit, and I might pull into the boss for this one. You know, while focusing mostly on getting Hogger down. I mean, if you can't do it because you're like a caster or whatnot, you know, definitely don't push yourself like that. I'm just doing it because, you know, you can sort of like double this up, because the mechanics that the mini boss here does, it's not too much. You just need to run from the swirls. He'll always target your last position, so you can just keep moving here. Once he does 3 jumps, you can go back to the routine, and then he just kind of like sits there and wails on you. The damage, it's not insignificant either. You want to be kind of careful. And then just keep an eye out when he does the cast again. So he's going to start in just a bit. Maybe. Yeah, there we go. You know, whatever you can throw in the meantime. Otherwise, just keep running. A few more seconds is not, you know, not the end of the world if you want to just like be patient and wait for him. So with this area kill, let's go ahead and take care of the bombs right here. I'm Temple. Yes, I did choose Templar. Normally I play Lightsmith. I play Lightsmith for like everything except for here, because in situations like these, like I said, you want to have for yourself the ability to space out cooldowns for when you need to, so that way you can get through like a Hogger, or you can start getting through like different packs very quickly. This particular section, the mobs here, they're not so bad. They can hit pretty hard, but there's nothing like super dangerous about like the actual trash. Like the heart piercers are like the worst ones. You just need to make sure you kind of stay on the move and that you don't get intercepted by the by their big shooty attacks. The normal shoot attacks you can't really do anything about. Otherwise, these other mobs here, they don't really like do too much. Ain't no thing. But like I said, you just don't want to get overconfident either. And don't skip bombs. I did a lot. All these videos, I've had no successful run where I was actually like really on top of, oh yeah, let me get all these bombs. Sometimes I'll miss the one at the entrance. It's terrible. Terrible, terrible, terrible. Other reason why you can afford to like not rush, you know, apart from getting hoggers to fill your sanity, is that you can space out your cooldowns. So here's Hogger again. So here, let's see, what will I use for this one? Actually, I don't think I'll use anything. You know, I'm very good on sanity. So in this case, I can choose to, you know, be more tactical and knowing that I'm going to get all the sanity back, I'm just not going to use a cooldown. So have that sort of strategy in mind with your sanity management. It's very, very easy. In fact, you can kind of use it to your advantage so that way you can save cooldowns and deal more damage. The big thing about doing 5 masks and higher is to just not get hit by stuff. And of course, not die. But as for like, ooh, I need to go, I think you should kind of like get that out of your head, if possible. So here we'll pop everything. Here we go. We'll kick these things out of the way. Interact button is great for that, by the way. And then just sidestep his little frontal thingamajig. Get those out of the way again. And I mean, you don't have to, you can click it too. I mean, like me moving my camera all the way over, maybe that's a little bit of goofy, a little goofy. What corruption enchant do you recommend for Paladin? Since I'm tanking, or otherwise, you know, I'm being melee. I'm totally cool with. Well, let me just warp back. I'm totally cool with Twilight Devastation, but I believe the one that gives stats, that one I would say is the easiest to use because that doesn't miss. You know, I might have a TD go off in the middle of nowhere and doesn't hit anybody, and it's all bad. But a stat bonus, like, that's at least more reliable. TD's awesome, though. It just looks great. It feels good when it goes off and it mows someone down. Tormentors, by the way, they do a lot of damage, but the tentacles are just really, really obnoxious. I tend to like try and pop a small cooldown for them. Not something too crazy, especially if there's like a boss or something that's coming up. But man, they're just, it feels like they just take up so much time. Nobody likes them. So here I'll go for this darn thing again. And I'll stun it too. Remember, you can stun these things so that way you can like try to knock them out before they burrow. That always helps. But you know, for some classes, stuns are very precious, and in this particular hallway, like, it's okay to use them. There aren't too many other mobs that do anything like super dangerous. Yeah, so a lot of these, they end up like being pretty short work. Make sure you kick the Agonizing Torment. And ideally fight this guy alone if you can. If you pull a bunch of mobs into him, you can do that, but you want to be very careful that when he gets his convert cast off, you stop taking heals while you're debuffed. So I personally would rather recommend you fight him alone. Life's too short, man. As a reminder, Entomophobia and Dark Delusions are in play, so you just want to make sure you are moving a bit. Here's Hogger. I feel like it's been a while since I've seen him. This area doesn't have like too many mobs, unlike some of the other sections. And keep in mind, this is like the fourth. This is the last section we're doing here. Oh, see, there's me not jumping, I think. So one of the other things to point out is, you know, these aren't short, and you're kind of like mentally locked in, not unlike doing keys. Not everyone's really used to that. So just be aware that as you go through these matches, like I know, speaking for me, like I start to get numb a little bit. I start to lose focus. I'm just kind of going through the motions, and then I start making mistakes, and that can easily like lead to early deaths. So try to be careful of that. And I guess that's why this approach happens to work, by starting with the tougher areas. So that way you can get a lot of practice in them. You can go in when you're kind of like mentally fresh. And then these, which aren't as hard, I would say, you know, they're a bit more forgiving if you happen to like make some mistakes. But some of these, like, you really don't want to make too many mistakes. So I think I got everything, right? Yeah, I think I got everything. So I'm going to go big. I'm going to bubble chains here. So that way he's like just kind of doing a lot of nothing. And, you know, I have my bubble. But ideally, you know, if you just want to, you could just run away too. I think there might be some other cheesy things that some classes can do as well. But otherwise, mechanically, this guy is very simple. You just don't want to get caught up in like other things that are happening, such as Dark Delusions, Enimophobia. Because if you lose that control, you're done. You might get caught up in like a tentacle. You might get sucked into his chains, and then it's all bad. So we're going to knock this out. We have 10 more until the next Hogger, who might be the last Hogger if I even get to that. But like there's like those mobs over there. So if we want to use them as a battery, and try to get some of your sanity back if you happen to be low. Like that's a good place to use them. Otherwise, you can kind of sort of like avoid a little bit. You can go for like, you know, there's this pack here. Yeah, there's this pack here, but you can like opt to go knock out that one to try to make sure that you spawn a Hogger. Oh yeah, chat's suggesting Death's a Dance for that too. Yeah. But you still don't want to get into that circle. I'm pretty sure if you walk into that circle, you still get the hit. Unless you have a full immunity, because I know I can bubble and be in it. You probably want to not be in there for too long, unless you have a really good handle on how long your bubble is, or if you're using some sort of like weak aura or cooldown manager. And I think I'm missing something. No, I think I'm not. Anyway, we're gonna go big. Everything we got right at the start, if we can. Ideally, if you can stand on Promised Power, great. But it's so unreliable that it almost feels like a troll. If you can, kick the polymorph, of course. And while you're here, during these pauses, like with Void Eruption or even like chains, you can pop your orbs if you have any available. That'll help you out too. Woo. Of course, don't get hit by stuff. And if you do, try to not be standing in like really, really weird stuff while doing it. So like, for example, here, I'll just pop an orb and be like, la la la. Go ahead, lady, do your thing. Meanwhile, I'm here. The annoying part is like having to deal with a lot of areas in Isle here. Along with the eyeball, which again really annoys me. So we'll hide again while avoiding the eyeball. And I think she's going to do her polymorph in just a bit. So you want to try to make sure it's available, especially if you can cast it at range. Like, there we go. So I got that one. Go me. And now you just want to try to line of sight if you can. She popped her chains, but I just bubbled before that because I really don't want to deal with it. So there's a polymorph again. Let's keep going. So count on this to be like kind of a, kind of a brawl. There's just a lot going on. know, just get used to help. Pop another orb if you feel like it. No big deal. Yeah, like trying to kick the bombs that are in there, like it feels like really awkward because you might just kick them like straight into a wall. Then it's like, oh, what did I do? Did I do anything effective there? Not really. So here we'll hide again. A little dot in the sky. Eyeball, not really gonna care. As you can see, my sanity is in a pretty good spot, but I'm saving my Avenger shield for just like, you know, for like just in case. And then I'll hide one more time. This should be it. Oh, there's the polymorph, which I have no kick for. Smart girl. And hammer to the face. Okay. So hopefully that showed you like enough of like the different overlaps and all the other stuff going on. Oh no, Blaine, this is only a 5 mask. Although I got Mad World, but okay. I guess I didn't get credit for the 8. Or I did the 8, but I didn't get credit for the 5 until now. So odd. And did I get anything good? I got 3 gilded crests. Oh man. And I happen to only get like a hero 2. It should be a hero 4, but since I did the 8, I got the reward for a 5. If that makes any sense. Because that's the best reward you can. It's a little confusing, I know. But this all tracks. So that's gonna be it, and I hope that this thing helped, and I'll see you guys for the next thing. Stay safe, stay healthy, and stay breezy.